Today I want to talk about love teaching number 3 that was passed from Shams to Rumi. I've had several comments on this, and I think it's one that can be difficult to understand, and also when we sit with it for a while, I think it's very incredible what opens up in us. So I did that for myself, and I want to share what I discovered. First of all, it talks about how there are 4 different levels of insight or understanding in our development. Call it our spiritual development, or our unfoldment into liberation, or spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, that there are 4 levels of understanding. Let me preface that also by saying not to get hung up on the words. I'm going to use this particular teaching as a pointer to something else. Now, the first level says that most people are content with the outer level of, with the surface meaning of things, just with what you see and what you hear. Just can be content with what's on the outside. And the second is that there is an inner level of understanding. And third is there's an inner of the inner. And the 4th level is beyond words. So I wanted to speak about these in relationship to the power of meditation and how trauma may come into play within this development, within these different levels. And this came up for me several times this week with different people who have had experiences with trauma in their past, and who find it difficult to sit in meditation as a result of that. So first of all, I want to say that this is a very common experience, that if it's happening for you, you're not alone in it at all. It's very common, and I do not think it's something that gets talked about very often. So I would like to shed some light upon that if I can. All right, well, the power of meditation. Sometimes when people sit down, just the idea of sitting triggers their trauma. And that will happen in the beginning for many people. And what I want to say is sit anyway. So we need to go ahead and sit on the pillow. And what's happening at that time is that level of teaching, which is beyond words, it is calling us to itself. And when we're being called back to ourself, whatever needs healing, whatever is undone, unfinished, unsettled in our lives, will have an opportunity to be integrated into our wholeness, to be healed. So this deepest level, in my experience, is forever calling us back home to itself. That is the space in which there are no words, which we can only point at this. So when we go to sit in meditation, it's very natural for trauma to be triggered, to be stimulated. For some people, it may locate itself in the forehead here. That's very common. For other people, it's felt just beneath the skin, kind of almost like electricity, like some buzzing. Or it could show up anywhere else in the body in the form of discomfort or pain. And accompanying it is a urge to run, to jump off the pillow, scream, and flee. And you're not alone in that. That's very normal. And what I want to say is to let it happen so that you can sit on your cushion, in your chair, and have your feet. It's better to sit, if you do have an experience of trauma that is arising for you, to have your feet solidly planted on the floor. This will help to keep you grounded. And as you're sitting, whatever the sensations are, to allow them to be there. First, hearing that this is normal already allows something to rest in us. That you're not alone in this, it's something that happens. And that meditation is a very powerful place for this to be seen. And all that it wants is to be seen, to be held in a container of spaciousness that is safe, that doesn't want anything, isn't asking for anything, and it's inviting whatever this experience is into a deep rest. I can't say how long it will take, but for each of us it's different, and really it has to do with your willingness to sit anyway, to be still, and to be free. And when that interest is sincere, then you're going to be able to move to the next level. So the next level, which is behind this surface experience, which in ordinary life, meaning our common day-to-day experience, may cause us to be in a very kind of reactionary mode, where we're not really able to take in life as it's coming to us. We're perceiving it from the space of trauma, or from the space of hurt, whatever you want to call that. I'm going to try not to throw out too many labels, because personally I don't believe in labels. I think that they can slow us down. So I'm just saying that in order to go to the next level of inner experience, we can just see the outer for what it is, how it shows up on us, maybe as a headache or as energy, whatever it is. Just see it for what it is. Let it be that, and then we're going to relax to a different level. And on the inside, then what will show itself are perhaps the memories that caused this trauma, or the misidentification, or the belief systems. Then we'll be able to get seen. Now for some of us this can happen very rapidly, like a downloading of images. Boom, 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 boom. For me it was like that, where it's just a downloading of images that made me say, oh, well, why, of course. And I just let those images pass without any clinging, and letting them be as they are, and they vanish. You know, they no longer have any power. So you can do this in sitting. That's the power of meditation, and the opportunity of meditation is to let all of this unpack itself. So for me, that's what the inner means. There's many kinds of interpretations, belief systems, conditioned patterns that are just beneath the surface, and are connected to memory. I'm going to stay in this lifetime for now. I'm not going to talk about karma or past life, so let's just say memory from earlier experience. And when that hasn't been seen through, it will cause us to reflect or project that same kind of situation into the future. It may take a little different form, but it will be connected to the same belief systems. So it's important to let that wash through. And once that happens, and also let me say that this isn't necessarily linear, where you complete the outer image, you know, the dissolution of the outer image and all of our pretenses first, and then go to the inner belief systems, and then we go to the inner of the inner. It's not necessarily like that. All of this can be happening at the same time. So once we recede to the inner of the inner, my experience of that is the experience that you may be very aware of just before you fall to sleep at night, or just before you awake in the morning. It's kind of this in-between space. It's a sense of being here and not being here. Kind of like you're awake in your dream. And it's very mystical in a sense, very ethereal, very very spacious. And it feels good. It's a good feeling place. because there isn't really anything to hang on to. Some people call this space Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It's where you're almost suspended in a space of spirit, perhaps. Words are limiting here. But I spent a lot of time here. But it's not dysfunctional. There isn't any functionality that comes along with it. But it's a place of healing and of rest. It's almost as if in this space you're preserved. There's a preservation of your nature, of who you are, so that you could have come out of tremendous amount of trauma in your life. And as you recede into these deeper levels of being, you're able to rest and heal more as if those experiences never happened. So you're being fortified. It's like you're being given back life. You're being given back your vitality. And then the next level, which all people have experiences of this at one time or another, it's the level where you where everything falls away. There aren't words for it. You fall silent. You fall silent to yourself. You fall silent to the world. You fall silent to everything because it isn't there. It's non-existent. So you're in the space of primordial being, before existence, prior to, and after. So everything comes and goes from this space, from this primordial sense of being. It's all space. It's completely empty. There are no feelings, there is no fear. It's prior to becoming. So this is the power of meditation. So it's okay wherever you're at with these levels. At a certain point, the levels don't matter. You don't even need to think about levels. But to consider levels as a way of understanding something is wonderful, and then to let the words go, not to hold me to them, because tomorrow I might say something very different. And I have the liberty to do so. Let's see what else there is in relation to this. Oh, as far as meditation goes, especially if you're dealing with trauma rising in your system, it's been tucked away, and it heard we're going to get free, so it decides to wake up. That's natural. So if that's happening for you, you can take your time for sitting to be still in increments. Begin with just a little bit of time, maybe 5 minutes, and then slowly increase that to whatever your comfort level is. And you'll find, if you follow what I'm saying, that each time it will happen for you with greater ease. And you'll probably fall in love with sitting, because you'll find it to be a place for deep healing. It's an incredible medicine, a medicine for every part of you. So if you can take that in and remember that everything is included, there isn't any part of you that is left out of liberation. In fact, every part of you is calling to be freed, and is being called back to itself, to the source itself. So if you haven't tuned into the 40 days of universal